A hearty welcome to today's presentation of the Science Board Academy. Obeta N. Estefani is my name. I will be discussing physical quantities. Under this topic, physical quantities, we are going to be answering questions like, what are physical quantities? We will discuss units and SI units, fundamental quantities and units, derived quantities and units will as well be analyzed, and finally we will talk on dimension and its analysis. Physical quantities. What are physical quantities? A physical quantity is one which can be measured and given a value. Can you think of anything you can measure and give a value? Take, for example, the quantity of matter in a body, mass. Because it can be measured and given a value, it is a physical quantity. One can as well measure the interval between two events. That we call time. Some other person might wish to measure the distance between two given points, and we call it length. Units. What are units? A unit is that which defines a given physical quantity. Take, for example, a student measures distance between 2 points A and B as shown in the diagram and gave his answer as 5. A critical mind begins to ask, is it 5 centimeter? Is it 5 meter? Or 5 watts? His inability to define the unit of measurements makes his measurements invalid. Thus, it becomes meaningful that for one to do any measurements in science, the unit has got to be defined. International system of units. This is a system of units that is internationally accepted by scientists for measurements. It is abbreviated as SI units. In the distance measured by the students between 2 points A and B, the actual measurement was 5 cm. Centimeter thus becomes the unit for length. But cm is not the ideal unit for length. To measure length, we need meter. Centimeter is thus a subunit from length. Fundamental quantities and units. What are fundamental quantities? Fundamental quantities are physical quantities that form the basis of measurements. They are independent of other quantities. Fundamental units, on the other hand, are basic units upon which other units depend. Basic fundamental quantities. The basic fundamental quantities we'll discuss include mass. This is measured in kilogram. Length. This is measured in meter. Time, which we measure in second. Current, measured in ampere. Temperature is measured in Kelvin. Amount of substance is measured in mole. And the last but not the least is luminous intensity, which is measured in candela. The table above is a recap of the basic fundamental quantities, their units, and the units abbreviation. Derived quantities and units. What are derived quantities? Derived quantities are those quantities gotten from a combination of two or more of the fundamental quantities. For example, area. Area is given as length times breadth. Because it combines two physical quantities, two fundamental quantities, length and breadth, area is therefore a derived quantity. Derived units, on the other hand, are units gotten from a combination of two or more of the fundamental units. Going back to area as well, we define it as length times breadth. Now, the unit for area is this. The unit for length, which is in meter, times that for breadth, which is also in meter. And this gives us meter squared as the unit for area. Volume. Volume is defined as length times breadth times width. Because it combines three basic fundamental quantities, different lengths. Its unit is therefore the unit for length, times that for breadth, times the unit for width. And that we get as meter cube. Density. Density is defined as mass per unit volume. Each unit is a combination of the unit for mass divided by the unit for volume. And that is giving us kilogram per meter cube. Free